regardless of how you feel about China, what the media will tell you about China, one thing you cannot deny is they're just a wonder when it comes to building infrastructure. And anyone that says otherwise is a bigger liar than Elon Musk when he talks about some new technological breakthrough that he's developing that's going to be out later this year. Like, China has gone from an agrarian society to building some of the most magnificent cities that are on this earth. Whereas in America, we haven't had mass infrastructure projects nationwide in like a few decades. Like, I don't know if it's the lead poisoning or just breathing in the fumes that's messed up our brains, when we're in traffic. But our infrastructure is literally just crumbling. And it's so sad to see. Even our roads, America's idea of what freedom is, roads and highways are just falling apart. Like, for example, when it comes to high-speed rail, China didn't start getting serious about it until around 2010. And now they have 28,000 miles of high-speed rail. China is literally the same size as America. And in case people, think, oh, well, they just have higher population density. Okay, trains come in different sizes to accommodate for that. So you just have smaller trains to accommodate for the smaller population density like we have in America. But one of the things that's just as good, if not better than high-speed rail, is regional and city public transit. And that's something that China's really been focusing on, particularly metros. We all know the big cities, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing. And those, I think, for the most part, have always had some form of metros over the past few decades. But there's this city called Suzhou, with like 8 million people in it. Its first metro line didn't open until 2012. And since then, it has had almost 200 miles of metro built. Dude, in that same time period, we built like 1 mile of subway in San Francisco. In Los Angeles, they are barely breaking ground on a partial subway that's going to be 20 miles and it's not going to be finished for another 20 years. And these are not the exceptions. These are basically the rules in America because we don't really care about building mass infrastructure unless it's, one more lane. And cities are really just, and woe because of it. So many people can only be transported by one lane, and it's around 4,000 people per hour before traffic occurs on a highway. When it comes to a metro line, all you have to do is plan for the future. The amount of people they could transport per hour is almost limitless. And I'm a communist freedom hater, obviously, because I believe that we shouldn't have cars be illegal, but we shouldn't have car dependency, meaning we should have, options of getting around. There are people in this country that think that walkable cities are a way for the government to control us. It's a wonder that we even have freedom-hating infrastructure, like in Portland here, where they turned a highway into a park, or in New York City, where they turned a massive parking lot into a beautiful public park. Now, one of the reasons I think this isn't going to sound kind of crazy. So one of the reasons why we're experiencing high interest rates in America is because it undermines worker power in the workplace, making them more desperate for their job because they have less money saved up. And that's literally coming from the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who is in charge of setting interest rates. But that's the thing, it's worker power that needs to be undermined in our society. If there's a jobs guarantee of infrastructure or just a massive investment in building infrastructure, then people will have more options when it comes to deciding where they want to work. Meaning they could just leave their job if their employer treats them badly or doesn't pay them well or gives them terrible benefits. And workers could negotiate to be, treated like a human being and be paid well, knowing that they could just get another job and leave. And obviously in crony capitalism, we can't have that. Also, not to mention the economic benefits. Like if we had nationwide high-speed rail, that would open up so many opportunities for people because there's only a certain amount of time that people would be willing to spend traveling to get to, say, work or school or something like that. And that's drastically limited by a car. And let's say the furthest the average person is willing to travel for those things is around 40 minutes, which is a little longer than the average person commutes. So if you're willing to travel 40 minutes, let's say not only was there high-speed rail across the country, but also really good, reliable, frequent, and fast public transit in cities and towns. And people still willing to only commute 40 minutes each way. In 40 minutes, by high-speed train and public transit, you could travel almost 100 miles. compared to the roughly maybe 20 to 30 miles that you can only do by car, opening up a wide range of possibilities for their person's life. But I digress. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe and look out for other videos in the future. Thank you.